Okay, final update. The time is just about 12 and got stopped out for the day after the massive up move. So, just finished exiting my position. And so, interesting day. We had a massive gap down, and now we've recovered that entire gap down, and we're actually in the green. So, the idea for the day today was fairly straightforward. I posted in the morning that puts, first of all, were definitely on the cheaper side, and close to money calls also were extremely cheap. So both puts are cheap and close to money calls are cheap, but at the same time, super OTM calls, they had a good amount of value. So that my idea is that, look, okay, we are opening here, right, and this 16500 put is opening for $10. It's opening for $10. It's just 350 points out of the money. It hasn't gained anything, but at the same time, if you look at what 17100, 17150, 17200 have lost, they've lost an immense amount of value. So let me just go over that. You can see, for example, 16500 put, right? Where did it open? Okay, it opened at 10, shot up to about 15, and then came back down. When I was looking at the price, it was hovering around 10, 11, 12. Now, at the same time, you look at what 17100 call has lost, right? It closed at somewhere close to 90. It closed at 90, and it has opened at 19 rupees, right? So it has lost $80, and the put has gained some 8 rupees or hardly even that much. So I don't want to take a position now like 17.1, 16.5. This is not attractive, right? So if you had shorted somewhere this, let us say around 20, and then the put around 15 or whatever, or even if you've shorted the 150, right? What a huge expansion. There is it's gained back a lot, and obviously the puts won't give you much, because first of all, they didn't gain much to begin with. So either you would have had to been much closer on the put, or that's the only way in which it works. So what trade makes sense over here? So ideally speaking, the best trade over here is something like a call ratio, where since OTM calls are expensive, what one can do is buy like 17.2 call option and sell like 4x of 17.35, right? In this case, what happens is, into the up move, this will gain. This might actually give you zero loss, because OTM calls are already expensive. This might give you zero loss. This might give you a profit, and at some point you can either book the entire position, or because it's a sell on rise market, you can just book the bought position and keep a very small stop loss on the sold position. So such trades are attractive, but I don't generally do ratios. I mean, not until I'm more comfortable with it. So instead, what I will have to do in this situation is sell a call option which hasn't lost too much money. So what did I do? I sold 17400 call option, and I sold on the put side 16400. Very simple logic. Here I don't want to manage for delta. In case after such a big gap down there's a continued sell off, or there is some kind of massive up move, I don't want to adjust for delta. On a Wednesday, I'm taking a 1000 point position on the Nifty. So it's going to have to work very hard to force me to do anything, and at a point where IV is relatively high. So at this point, ATM straddle was around 220. At 220 is a decent ATM on Wednesday at the open. And if I go so far, regardless of which side the market moves, a little bit cooling in IV, and my position will already come into profit. So that's exactly what happened. And at one point, what I did was I tried to be smart, and I tried to roll down my call option to 17350 with the idea that I'll keep a 2 point stop loss. So I rolled to it at around 5.5, and I could have just let it be, then I wouldn't have gotten stopped out, but instead I moved it to the lower strike. I kept a stop loss of 7.5. Once we breached the 17,000, that stop loss hit, and there wasn't much else left for me to do over there. So that's the trade. The order book will be there. Bank Nifty, now Bank Nifty was interesting. I basically shorted 45. And at a point where this became plus 20, I started keeping a trailing stop loss, because Bank Nifty was starting to test yesterday's low. So I'll tell you where. So exactly here, by this point I was plus 20, which is very good. Like in just about this many candles, and with hedging benefit, plus 20 is excellent, right? And just as we were testing here, I decided to cancel Bank Nifty trade because the threat on the calls to explode would be very large. So actually this trade went from plus 20. I'm paper trading it now. It went all the way till minus 2, and now it is back to being I think plus one second, let me check the paper trade. Yeah, it's back to being plus 15, right? So anyway, good, fair enough exit there. I was trading about 2000 shares, so that went all right. So that's about it. It was a day where we just had this massive up move. So anything where you're managing for delta, it's going to be very difficult. And look what happens once we are above 17,000. It's not like I can bring up my put option. I mean, look at this move. We opened here. We are looking at 16,800 on the SGX. We just 25 points off, and from there we have this massive up move. There's not much that can be done. My idea was any cooling and volatility will help my position. It helped my position, and at a point beyond which there's nothing I can do. I can't manage the delta. What is the point if I roll away my call? That's not going to do much. If I move up my put, that drastically increases the risk in case this reverses. So there's nothing that can be done. It's clearly trending on the upside, gap down and clear uptrend. There's no point in me sitting in this position. And in fact, there was a point where I was plus 1.4 on this trade, and I decided to keep quite a large trailing stop loss. And despite having it be quite large, it ended up hitting. So at that point, I have to just give up and call it a day. So yeah, that's about it. To be very frank, as long as this Fed and RBI thing keep going on, I don't see myself taking any large risk unless there's really good opportunity. Like if I see an explosion in IV, then I will probably try to take higher risk. But at this point, it's constantly about avoid getting hurt. Right, like in the morning, if you had shorted, let's say 20,20, you would have never come into profit at all. Like straight into the up move, you would be doing adjustments, and the calls have just been going. So if you look at the chart of this, even like 17,150 call option. Okay, so if this opened at around, let's say like 13 rupees or 13-14 rupees, and then has made a high of 40. Now, with what kind of management will you actually make money in this? Like you do whatever with your puts, it's not going to help. You have to take stops on the call because it's gone 3x. So at that point, like close to money is just not attractive unless it's priced. So it's about like thinking maybe if we opened with 240, 245 on the at the money, then close to money pricing would make sense to take some risk. Otherwise, I don't see the point. So anyway, that's about that. I will catch you at the next one. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.